Hey guys, this is Kay.
This is Jay.
And we were just coming with a video talking about our home buying process. We got a few questions from you guys on Facebook and Instagram, so we thought we'll go over them. We have 10 questions that we pulled out of the several that everybody sent us. So hopefully this answers all of you guys' questions.
All right, question number one is why did we end up building?
Huntsville is a buyer's market. It seemed like it was really hard to purchase a home, or it was going to be to purchase a home, so we decided to build.
Another reason we decided to build is that we were like extremely picky, and we were looking at houses, and nothing we saw was really something that we really wanted. Me being from Dallas is like, you get way more house, I feel like, in Dallas than you do here, and so everything we were seeing was like super expensive for like no room.
Yeah.
Another thing is that we were kind of we weren't in a rush, but our lease was coming up in like 5 or something months, and so we kind of were looking at the time frame of getting something that was done by the time our lease or our current rental was done. Question number two is what is the most important thing to do before buying a house?
I guess you could start with that one.
I think for one is to know what you really want, what you really can afford, different things like area, like your price range and stuff like that. We went from like apartments to renting and to kind of like try out. I know it sounds weird, but like try out to see if there was something we can handle of having like an increase in pay and having all these other responsibilities. There's definitely a lot of things that we learned that kind of like open our eyes to like, all right, we can kind of do this and own a house. There's a ton of things you should probably do before buying a house, and a lot of the stuff we'll get into like later on, but for us it was just like kind of doing a little bit of research of trying to figure out, if it was even like feasible or possible for us. Question number three, let's see. Where do you actually start in the build process?
First thing is one, figuring out your budget. It's weird how we did it. We looked at the price of a house. I think because we started this process about 2 years ago. So we looked at the price of the house and we're like, okay, what's 20% of that? And then we realized, wow, that's a lot of money. So we just started saving towards that number. So that was the first step. We just started saving, and this was before we actually knew that we were going to move in. The next step was speaking with the lender.
Most important thing you do is just go up there and talk to them. A lot of people get like, I guess, not self-conscious, but they don't want to do that because they're obviously trying to sell you something. But when we went up there, like, it was literally like, how do we go about starting this process? We never really felt pressure to do anything.
Yeah.
Whereas, and this is with building, whereas buying a house, we kind of went through that process a little bit when we were going to do this last year, and we kind of felt a little bit pressured. So that's kind of why, it was another reason why I kind of leaned us more towards building in the first place.
I will say one thing that's major is, of course, you want to kind of have some money saved, because when they pull your credit, you got to be ready to roll. You got 30 days to get things done, and so just kind of getting as much information as you can before you talk to the real deal people is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, we didn't know much, so we were just like, okay, what we can do, what we have control over is saving. So we just start saving a good amount of money, and then when we were ready to transition to looking at purchasing a home, then we went to go talk to a lender.
And that kind of touches on, like, I guess the next question is, what are the steps to buying? So you can kind of go into that of like, when you're ready, let's say you find a house, like what do you actually have to do to, I guess, buy that house? We
started this process so I mentioned to you guys, we started 2 years ago saving. It was about 18 months from today's date. So that's almost 2 years. And so we started saving, and then last December, went to go look at a model home, fell in love. That's like, it's trouble because the model homes look beautiful. So we fell in love, and we talked to the real estate agent that was there, and they were saying, okay, this is this number, this is this and that. So we went online, because one thing with building, it's really hard to look at all the houses because they're not all built. So we were able to find a model that we liked, and we went, it was maybe about 30 minutes away. We went to go look at that house. And then what was the next part?
So the next part is with building. So it's a little bit different between building and buying. With building, you have to, let's say you like, all right, I like this house, I want to pick this house, and I want to get it built. The first step of that is getting like pre-approved. And getting pre-approved means that they just, they pull your credit and look to make sure, like, just the initial glance that all right, you may actually be able to afford a house before they go like deep into every single thing. And the builder needs that pre-approval, and like you put like a little bit of it's called earnest money, a down payment to actually for them to start working on the house. And so it kind of saves them time. If you don't get pre-approved and you don't have that initial, things like 1.1% or something like that of the total house, for them to hold, and they won't even start on the house yet. And so that was like the first step. And picking a lender, like she said, also like a lot of builders, like our builder had a list of maybe like 6 or 8 lenders that if you go through those lenders, you get like money off and they'll cover your closing and stuff like that. And so we kind of like went through that list and kind of decided on if we wanted to go with one of those lenders or not.
Yeah, so with the lenders, we reached out to a lot of people that were in Huntsville, because we have tons of great friends that are real estate agents, and they told us, oh, this is the lender that you may want to choose. We wanted to find somebody that was going to take care of us. We went, I think, this is crazy, we talked to 3 different lenders and only one bid. It's crazy when you want to give your money to somebody.
The reason why we ended up going with the lender we went with is because there were some huger, like more like bigger companies that we started working with first, and they kind of like, you could tell they were like lost in how many people they were helping. They didn't really get back to you, or you were just like a number, or I would call one and like, hey, we would talk for like an hour or so, and then I called them back the next day and they're like, wait, who are you? Like, what do we talk about? Like, you kind of got like lost and it was kind of annoying. But then our third lender that we chose, like, they send me an email, they call me immediately. Like, every time I call them, they're like, they know exactly, what I'm talking about. And even if I talk to different people, they all are like up to date on our profile and stuff like that.
So we wanted to go with USAA first because that's just a bank that we love, USAA, but it wasn't a preferred lender. And so we were just used to the big names. The list of lenders, we went with all the ones that had been in business for years. We ended up deciding on one that was local. So don't be afraid with using local companies, because those are the ones that really take care of you. They know the market. They're
in town if you need to go up there or something like that. Yeah. Like the first lender I chose, they're like, I think their headquarters was like in Detroit. I can't just go up there if they're not answering the phone. Or like I remember one time the guy told me that we were supposed to talk on like a Monday at 1:00. And he didn't call me, and I called him like 4 or 5 times over 3 days. And he never answered, and then finally answered like the 4th day, and then didn't know what I was trying to call him for. And so
so you want to find somebody that makes you feel good. At no point in time do you want to do anything or make any decisions if you feel uncomfortable. It's everything that you're doing is yours. So you just gotta keep it moving. Somebody else can, you can pay somebody else for something. So after we did the lender, we chose our lender. We did the interest money. So a little in detail about that one. Like he mentioned, the interest money is what keeps your house. So we paid that portion. We paid that portion, and then after that we had a pre-con meeting. Yeah. And then the pre-con meeting kind of just set everything into flow. Unfortunately, we kind of did all of our stuff over the holidays, so it kind of elongated the process. But from when you pay, once you reach out to the lender, get your pre-approval letter, to the pre-con meeting, if it's not over the holidays, that should take about 2 weeks if everything is moving properly. So after that, that's when after the pre-con meeting, you don't talk to the builder anymore. Unless it's up.
And then like I don't want to make it seem like we walked in and then just gave them money and then we were done. Like there was definitely like some phone conversations and talking in between, because you have to pick everything, right? Like you tell them what house you want, but you have to pick like a bunch of stuff in the house, and you have to pick your lot and stuff like that. And so you do all that up into the pre-construction meeting, and then once that meeting is done, that's when like you sign, and they have to they send it off to the city. The city has approved the blueprints and all this other BS and stuff, and that takes time before they actually go dig up dirt and stuff like that. And so
but if your builder moves fast, it doesn't take long to get all this done. So this is not months worth of time. Like even over the holidays, I think we signed December. We did our interest money December 19th, earnest money December 19th, and then we signed right before my birthday, which is January 25th, and that was all done, and it was only delayed because of the holiday, because everybody was out of town. That was nice. So after the pre-con meeting once again is when you choose your lot, you choose what you want on the inside of the house, you make sure that if you want any changes in the house, which we did make changes, that's when you do everything, because after that, there are additional charges. So this is, if you want anything in the house, you have to make sure you have it done before then. One thing that was kind of interesting about the pre-con meeting, since everything is moving so fast, you don't realize, like, whoa, when you walk in there, like, dang, I'm choosing my house for the rest of my life.
I didn't know we were, like, actually, like, it sounds weird, but I didn't know we were actually doing anything until we got there, right? Like, we got there and it was like, all right, what color this is, and we'll get into that later, but, like, you literally get asked, like, maybe, like, 5 to 10 questions, and it's like, okay, well, we'll start building your house. Like, it's like,
and these words like earnest money, pre-con meeting, all these words are universal. So no matter what builder you go through, they will use these terms. And if we would have had a little bit more information going in, you could have just been prepared. And so that's what this video is for, to prepare you guys. So you get, during this pre-con meeting, you get to pick all the colors of everything. Basically, if you could touch it, you could pick the colors. And then you can add on anything. One thing that we added on was the double doors.
The things you can customize. I think the only thing you can't really customize is like once you pick a floor plan or whatever, like you can't really to say, okay, I want the bathroom on this side, because that's, for
the most part, away from the model.
Yeah, it goes away from like their, organization, something like that. If you do that, you might as well just build a custom home or something like that. So.
Yeah, so as far as like color, as far as what we got to customize, we got to choose all the colors in the house, from our bathrooms to the backsplash to the tile. We were able to pick the window, or not the window colors, we were able to pick the wall colors. So that's really nice, because you don't have to go in expecting to paint. A few things we added on, like we mentioned, we added on the French doors. We
pendant lights.
We got the pendant lights. We got double ovens. That's an option. There was an option between a vent hood or double ovens. So you don't always have to spend extra to get something. You can just trade out things. And so we were able to do both of those options. And then as far as outside, we had an option to get a covered patio with a TV hookup, and we did that just for entertainment purposes. And then as far as the house itself, like Jonathan was saying, you can't move the rooms, but you can change how the rooms are. You
can move the outlets around. Like we moved outlets from like we know our bed is gonna be facing this way. We don't want the outlet over here. Let's move all those outlets over here. I think you can also move window locations. So like, say if a window is like right in front of you, you can say I want it off to the right, left, stuff like that.
And so of course they have certain parameters they have to meet, and they have certain guidelines that they have to meet. But there are things that you can change.
Last thing about building a house is like, if you go see a model house when you're building a house, like don't just, well, what we ended up doing was like, all right, we went to go see the model house, and we were like, all right, we like that model house, we want that or whatever. And we didn't find out until we started getting into the building process that like the model house has a lot of maybe even stuff they don't even offer anymore. They just did it in the model house just to make it look cooler and stuff like that. So if you pick your plan off a model house, make sure you ask all the questions.
Is this an upgrade? Is that an upgrade?
Is this even? Because I think they have like a porch on the model house that's not even offered at all.
And what's funny, that's really funny. When we got this house, we've been going over it during the process. The major thing that we did not notice was an upgrade was that the model house has an extended porch. So our porch is just like a regular porch, but the model home has a porch where you could put like an entire seating area. But you live and you learn. So the next question.
How long did it take?
So as far as our builder, it was 120 build days. So that's 4 months if you do the math. And they compensate, they say that you have about maybe 30 to 60 days depending on bad weather. So you're looking at max possibly maybe 5 to 6 months. But they're supposed to, get it out within 120 days. Okay? One thing that nobody told us, which you can't get mad at people when you ask them their opinions, but don't move in thinking that, okay, as soon as the date is gonna happen, don't have just a month or maybe a week of my lease is ends and then I can move in. Don't do that to yourself. It's just added stress. But as far as just to wrap all this up, the last question is most important thing to do before buying a house or building a house. One thing, I would talk to your spouse. Just get your goals aligned. Work on anything that you can do to better yourself so you can get the best thing that you want. Nobody deserves to have to, you breaking your back at work, you doing all this stuff, and then as soon as you get as soon as you get pre-approved, you're not pre-approved for what you want. But you just want to make sure that you're in the best financial position, simply because that's you want to put all that you can in your house, unless that's just not your goal. Our goal was to make sure we had a house that can, we talked about that. We made sure we talked about what we wanted in this house. We wanted to make sure that we can entertain people, have our family over, because of course we're in Huntsville by ourselves. So when all our family comes in, our friends come in, there's no need to stay in that hotel. You come down, you just do what you want. And then we want to make sure we had enough room for creative space so that we can be on two different sides of the house, but at the same time under the same roof. Next thing, after speaking with each other, just kind of make sure that you're speaking with the right people. Look at different builders. One thing that you have anything to add?
No, I think we kind of covered everything. It's definitely been a learning process. We learned a lot. Another thing on the delays is like you just got to be able to just, if they come back to you and say, all right, it's going to be another month or something, you got to be able to adjust. Like I'm sure you can see in the background, we're in a hotel right now because our date got pushed back.
And be prepared. Me and Jonathan, of course, we've been together for 7 years now, and of course this has been 1 year that has strengthened our relationship, but at the same time it's showed us, okay, well, you have to make sure that you can depend on each other. So make sure that you're doing this with somebody that you can trust and that you can lean on when times get hard, because they will. And it's a rewarding process, but it's very stressful. But other than that, I would say that's it. If you guys have any questions, make sure to leave them down below, and then like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure that you share this with your friends. Have a good one.
See you.